Hello, Cancer. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. If Cancer is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Cancer, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. Okay, 7 of Cups. There is a confidence in you that this too shall pass, right? I feel that sometimes we get stuck in the mud. Sometimes we're feeling a little weighed down by emotions, by circumstances. And I wonder if sometimes it feels this way because there's so much that we can't control. And it kind of, in a way, it just feels like pointless, helpless, hopeless. There are things we can control. We can control our attitude. We can control our thoughts, our perspective. Let's see what's going on with this card, okay? Let's put this into some context. I feel like you're somebody that, you feel things very deeply. You're very sensitive. There might be a feeling right now that you've hit a wall. You've hit some sort of a blockage, whether it's an emotional blockage or if it's sort of a practical blockage. Let's say in your success, in your career, in your school, in your work, in your fulfillment of your purpose. Okay, in your spiritual work, maybe. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, let's put this card into some context. Oh, we've got the Chariot. There is your superpower. So it kind of feels like your chariot's stuck in the mud. But if we know anything about a chariot, it's going to get out of the mud. We just need a little bit more horsepower, I think that's a very good sign. I think that really is truly the confidence, the devotion, the discipline that you have. We know that, sometimes we just get down in these ruts. Sometimes the path is a little bit muddy. And sometimes, we might get stuck in that mud, right? There's the fire. There's the horsepower. 3 of Wands, 5 of Wands, 2 of Pentacles, and the Fool. And the Fool is definitely not stuck in the mud, okay? So to me, that is jackpot. That's good, right? Whatever the mud is for you. Okay, it could be a work thing, it could be an emotional thing, it could be in terms of, 9 of Pentacles. It could be in terms of your relationship, right? So we got the 2 5s, very, very good, leading to a lot of success, right? You're making changes. You're realizing what you can control. Okay, you can control how you interpret things, how many risks you take, what you put your energy and effort into. These are things that you can do to get out of the mud. Okay, 9 of Pentacles is a card of success, right? This is a lot of progress being made. If you're stuck in the mud with a 7, the 9 of Pentacles is saying, not only are you out of the mud, but you're making up for lost time. You're making up for any losses, financial losses or whatever it is. It's sort of, you're not just getting back to even, you're transcending, you're leveling up. True jackpot energy here, okay? 5 of Swords. 10 of Wands is, we gotta keep our eye on that, because it's in the position of what we don't want. Okay, and when you're over here in the 3 and the 5, you believe in what you're doing. You're making a difference. You're pushing. You're driving the car. You're accelerating. You're putting in work, right? We don't really want to think of the either running out of gas, right? to think about how we need to sometimes dial it back, because we get in that 3 and 5 of Wands energy, that very fiery, very influential energy, and then the 10 of Wands kind of says, like, we're going to try to take on the world now. That we might be extending ourselves beyond our means a little bit. And we have to be aware of that. We don't want to break down. You don't want to like drive the car at the red line for too long, right? You know, damage your engine, wear some parts out, that sort of thing. Final card is the Adjustment card, the Libra energy. The evaluation. Some things are just not worth your effort. Okay? This is you knowing the difference between things you can change and things you can't change. You can control who your friends are. You can control what books you read, how often you train or exercise, how many risks you take, how kind you are to other people, right? So we need to be able to have that higher discernment of that Libra energy. Know what we should be devoting our energy to and what is not worth our trouble. Yeah. Let's select the Mystery card. This is a bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. I'm going to set it down right here. We'll put our little sea turtle friend. I think that's a sea turtle. If you have a name for the sea turtle, please let me know, because right now they don't have a name. If you have a prediction for that card, let's try to predict it together. Let's use our intuition. All right. It's going to tie everything together. It's going to give us the confirmation and the conclusion at the end of the reading. So you got to stick around, right? Let's take a look around the room here. We have 3 major arcana, 1, 2, 3. We have the Chariot, the Fool, and of course the Libra energy. Now, even in the case of the Chariot and the Fool, the Chariot is all about discipline and devotion. The Fool has none of that, right? The Fool doesn't care about anything. The Fool doesn't have any responsibilities. The Fool doesn't have a direction, doesn't have a care in the world, right? Well, the Libra energy is kind of saying, well, we don't want to go to one extreme or the other. We don't want to completely abandon our sense of responsibility or discipline or devotion or loyalty and become the complete fool. We don't want that. We don't want to go to the other extreme either, where we are sitting here devoted to something, staying loyal to something that might be toxic for us. Okay? Maybe that's what the Chariot, maybe that's the mud that the Chariot is stuck in. And it's kind of like, well, wait a minute. Why am I here? Why am I staying in this swamp of toxic energy, of negative energy, or whatever it is, this blockage, whatever is going on, when you can make a choice, pursue something else? Okay? So I think the major arcana really are showing us that we need a little bit of this Fool energy, but we need a little bit of that Chariot energy too. Okay? And again, we have to know what we can control and what we can't control, what we have to put up with, right? Because it's life and we can't change certain things, and what we really don't have to deal with, don't have to put up with. You can control how kind you are to yourself, how kind you are to others. You can control when to ask for help and when not to. When to realize that whatever this team thing is or this partnership thing you might be in, you have the choice of whether or not this is the proper usage of your energy. You have the ability to choose how you sort of think and feel about that, about everything that's going on here. Okay, so we've got our majors. We've got, definitely have fire. We've got a little bit of water, right? How often do you say thank you? How often do you say I love you? How do you express your feelings? Right? Is the Chariot just sort of silently suffering in the mud here? Or, are you going to just sort of speak up and say, hey, I need some help. I want to get out of here. I don't like this anymore. I don't like being in the mud. I like this situation. Now, maybe we're talking about a work thing. Could be something at school. Could be family, friends. Could be a romantic situation. Doesn't matter if you're a teenager or if you're in your 90s or hundreds, right? Doesn't matter. The point is that you are feeling stuck somewhere. But the question sort of arises, are you actually stuck? Or can, through some of your own efforts, can you change your circumstances right now? Okay. So we've got a little bit of water, we've got a little bit of air, and we've got the earth. We got some good earth cards. But mostly it's about the fire. It's about getting mad. It's about standing up for yourself. It's about you realizing who you are and what you should and should not tolerate or put up with, and how you can change your circumstances so that they are more in line with your true self, your sense of self, your identity, and your your belief about what is right or wrong. Okay? Because down here we have this Three of Wands. Three of Wands is your identity. Three of Wands is your virtue. The Three of Wands is your moral compass, your set of principles, your personal ethics, right? And are you in a situation now that's kind of almost feels like it's turning you against yourself? Yeah. And that, of course, is that's Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups is this is the problem that we need to get out of, right? Because if we get out of this, this is jackpot. And I feel that you are getting out of this, okay? Because underneath everything, you know who you are. Underneath everything, you know what you want. Underneath everything, you know that you're doing the right thing. Getting out of that mud, getting out of that swamp, kind of by whatever means necessary. Okay, now don't take that literally, but you're standing up for yourself and you're saying that, look, there are things in life that you have an influence over, that you can control, that are within your sphere of influence, and you need to do everything that you can within, obviously within reasonable limits, to improve your circumstances and to free yourself from this toxic energy, because this is freedom, this is jackpot. This could be a work thing. It could be a situation at work where it just feels like your best self is sort of getting squished down. Your talents and skills are not being utilized. There is some sort of discord in your environment, Five of Swords, over here in the environment. Okay. I feel like you're sort of in a situation where there's a lot of animosity, there's a lot of friction. And it almost feels like if you stand up for yourself, if you try to get your chariot out of the mud, you're sort of like attracting the attention of these angry people, To me, it's like a video game, or like my daughter plays the Roblox games, right? And sometimes there's these things, I don't even want to get into it. There's these obbies, right? These obstacle courses, and sometimes you have to run through a big room, and if this big giant monster thing sees you, they'll chase you, right? So it's either you just stay there and you stay quiet and you stay still, monster doesn't see you, doesn't chase you, doesn't hurt you. As soon as you start trying to get to the other side, whatever the goal is, it's Nine of Pentacles, as soon as you start trying to go after the goal, the monster sees you moving and they come and chase you, and it's really a frightening game. I kind of feel like this is that, right? And we can't just stay here and suffer. This is no progress here. This is something that is stifling. This is something that is not utilizing your skills and abilities. You're not able to be your very best self. It is by being your very best self that you get out of this situation and you get to your jackpot, you get your freedom to pursue your happiest, best life. The Nine of Pentacles, right? This is you living your best life over here. This is you living it up, living lavish, right? Because you are fulfilling your destiny. You are pursuing the fulfillment of your potential in life, in this life, right? The Five of Wands in the background, sort of behind everything, I think is just a growing frustration. I think that this is a situation for you where you are more upset than not. And it's almost as if, for the sake of not kind of starting shit in the environment, you're sort of suffering here, where all of that frustration, right, is sort of just being stuffed inside. That it's building up inside of you rather than leading to, to action and to expression. All right, and so we got to change that. So I think the Five of Wands back here needs to be converted to that kind of energy that's going to push this chariot out of this swamp. Okay, maybe you need some help. Maybe you need some resources and some other materials. Let's focus on that. Let's put our energy into that. It's kind of like you're going to enter the room, the monster's going to chase you. That's just how it goes, right? It's going to happen every time. There's no tiptoeing through the game and to think that the monster's not going to get you. It's going to see you and it's going to chase you. You got to be faster than it. You got to outsmart the little computer monster or whatever it is. It's these big towering things, and your character's real small, and it is kind of scary. But we can focus this not on just letting that anxiety build up or letting that frustration build up. We could put this to some good use, and we can start making some positive changes. Two of Pentacles at the top. You're someone ready for change, right? You're ready to flip the script. You're ready to get out of the mud and get your jackpot, get your success, right? That Fool is ready. And sometimes it takes a little bit of fool, right? Then look at this. Look at what we have. You're surrounded by all the perfect things. Sometimes we got to be a little foolish. Sometimes we got to just sort of err on the side of action rather than inaction. Sometimes we have to use that frustration that's filling us up as motivation. Sometimes we have to sublimate our anger and turn it into power, to strength, to affect change, to influence our environment and our world, to get what we need or what we want, or etc., right? And all of those have to be based on what you know to be right, and based on your own virtue, your own moral compass, your own personal ethics. It has to be correct for you, okay? And so all of these things, your ability to take a risk, your ability to just leap into the unknown, and your ability to make changes, to act, to take a step. It's very, very important. It's fueled by this fire energy. I think this is really great. I think getting out of the mud here is leading to this freedom. It's sort of like a fresh start for you. And maybe it's a work thing, maybe it's a family thing. Maybe you live with, maybe it's roommates. Maybe it's a romantic thing. I don't think that it is. It doesn't seem to be. It seems more like a work thing, or even like a roommate situation, because I don't feel that there's really a personal connection between you and whoever else is around. But maybe that's part of the problem too, is that there really is no personal connection between you and the environment. And that's being sort of hindered by the fire and air, the fives here, right? Anytime we see a 5, we start looking around for the 4. We kind of think things got to settle down. That you're living in this, or existing in, I don't know if you're living here, like if you're sleeping here or not, right? But you're existing in this really like high pressure, high anxiety, high frustration, tightly wound energy with these 5s, right? This is kind of, it's always on. It's like you're on edge always, right? You've got to get out of this. And for some reason you feel devoted or committed to this. It's either it's the job, I promised I would do it, I signed up for it, I knew what I was getting into, or it's a family thing. It's been like, well, I got to try to make it work, or it's a relationship or whatever. There's some sort of a feeling of obligation. Okay. But this Fool, oh, I love this Fool. The Fool is ready to let it all go. The Fool is ready to leap. The Fool says, I don't care where I'm going, I just can't stay here. Okay? The Fool is going to leap into the unknown. The Fool will leave almost everything behind except its very essential nature. Okay? The Fool is ready for a fresh start, ready to transcend. We've got to prepare for this. We've got to be ready to leap. Okay? And when we do, I think things really start to improve, you know? The Fool is the zero. Nothing sticks to the Fool. The Fool has left the car and the mud behind. And just kind of said, well, I'm just going to walk out. Your car breaks down, your car gets stuck in the mud or whatever. Just, okay, I'm going to grab what I need out of the car, put it in my knapsack, and I'm going to walk out of here. Okay? Brings us over to the path of the Serpent, and as we talk about these cards, I would like to ask for your subscription. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. It's free. It supports the channel in a very big way, and I appreciate that. I also do bedtime stories over at Dove and Serpent Bedtime Stories. So if you want to check that out, go ahead. I think it would be fun for you. 9 of Pentacles, seeing progress immediately, right? And it's kind of like just the removal of this thing, maybe the removal of yourself from this environment. We start to see instant benefits, instant progress, you know? It's kind of like as soon as you take the thorn from your paw, it's better already. Immediately there's benefits, right? I can write my name now. I can hold a telephone, you know. It's not that you're going to have to wait to sort of see whether this was a good idea. I feel like it's right away. This is the visible sign of progress. This is the card of immediately things start to look better and seem better and feel better and a lot more opportunities. It's kind of like as soon as you free yourself of this energy, you're feeling better. Your head is more clear, your blood pressure goes down, your stomach problems go away, you know. It's right away there's progress, okay? Right away there's progress. This is also the idea that having freed yourself from this situation, you're on track to fulfill your potential. This is the 9 of Pentacles. This is someone living their best life as their best self, right? This is who you are, where you are, and what you're doing down the road. You know, you're sort of your jackpot. What is your ultimate goal in life? Where are you in your dreams, right? In your vision of the future? I think when we were back here, we maybe didn't really see a future. We were just worried about what was going on right here in the present moment. And when you have this kind of a stressful thing going on right here in your present moment, in your immediate surroundings, you ain't got time to think about the future. You don't have time to aspire and dream and wish for all these greater things. No, you're just trying to survive the day. I'm just trying to be okay right now. I'm not thinking about tomorrow yet. It's like we don't want to think about tomorrow. Just trying to deal with right now. Okay? And the 5 of Swords in the environment. Well, very often it's this feeling of frustration. It's the feeling of not even wanting to try because it's like I've already lost. No sense in trying because I know it's going to be a failure, you know. And we're accepting defeat before we even get out on the field. This has to change. And this is something you can control. This is something that we can easily flip that card around. We can put Spirit back on top. We can let Spirit take the wheel of our chariot. And we can say, no longer am I going to let my true self be sort of squished under the weight of all this toxic water. No, I'm going to put my true self, my future, God, goddess, deity, guardian angel, whatever. I'm gonna put that spiritual energy first. Okay. And in a way, it's sort of like putting yourself first. But I like to connect that with a higher conception of ourselves. You know, it doesn't mean we're putting ego first, but it means that we're standing up for our true self and our future and our destiny and our health and our livelihood and all that stuff. 5 of Swords in the environment. Let's do an affirmation card for that 5 of Swords. Whoa, there's the one. It volunteered. Gratitude, the blue bell. Be thankful for what is good now. Right? And this is a way of thinking. We could be thinking completely pessimistically. We could be thinking everything is terrible. Things are bad. We could be, this with the 5 of Swords this way. This is somebody that goes into every situation and they like to point out all the negative stuff about it, And sometimes honestly, these readings will be that way. Sometimes in a reading, I'm pointing out all the bad stuff, But I think sometimes we have to be aware of the bad stuff so that we can step around it. You got to be able to see the bovine excrement on the floor so you don't step in it, right? But we could take it a little too far. Sometimes if that's all we're doing is avoiding the Bravo Sierra, what's the point of being there, Where's the positive stuff? Where's the reward? Where's the benefit? Where's the optimism, the hope? Where are the good things? We're so busy avoiding the negative things or pointing out the negative things, we've got to start pointing out some of the good stuff too. Yeah, we want balance. We want to see the rewards, see the pot of gold, right? And know that it's there and that we're getting closer to it, but we also want to be able to see the booby traps. Okay? So when this card is its normal position, I think this is kind of like we're focused on the negative. We're losing sight of what is good and what is positive, and we're sort of losing some of our gratitude and our thankfulness for what is good, right? So when we turn this card over this way, we are not forgetting about the booby traps, but we're starting to focus on the positive things. So over here, it's like it's not about what I can't do, I can't control this, I can't change this. This situation is not good or terrible or toxic, and we're focused on all the negatives, the things that we can't do, the things that are not there, the things that are not happening. But this way it says, okay, I'm acknowledging all those things that I don't like, but let me focus on what I can do. Let me focus on what is good. Let me focus on where I am going. Okay, it's a shift in perspective. Leads us right into that 10 of Wands, though. The 10 of Wands is a lot of responsibility. The 10 of Wands is, when we're over here, we kind of don't want that card. Maybe we don't want help. Maybe this is the card of us not wanting to be at odds with everybody or with a situation, or to feel like it's sort of us against the world. Okay. Very often the 10 of Wands gets mistaken for the 2 of Wands. Because what I mean by that, and very often I say, oh, look, a 2 of Wands, it's a 10. Sometimes we feel as if we have a partner and that it's us against the world. But the reality of this card is that everything's on our shoulders. So I'm sensing that who we thought was going to be there for us was not there. And so now we don't want to rely on anybody else because they're not going to show up. Okay? This card is saying, I'm going to carry all the weight on my shoulders because I can't trust anybody. Because there's nobody else that's reliable. You want something done right? Do it yourself. Right? We've heard that millions of times over. Trust nobody. Trust no one. And there's wisdom in those axioms. But sometimes we have to be willing to say, I do need some help. That there's only so much I can do on my own. Just physically, logically, realistically, practically speaking, there's only so many hours in the day. Right? So when we get to the path of the serpent, we stop focusing too much on the negative, and we start focusing on what can be positive. Maybe I've put my trust in other people before and they didn't show up. But I've put my trust in other people before and they have shown up. They did help out. They were pulling their weight. And maybe this is something that's all on my shoulders and no one else can help me, but maybe I can find some help somewhere. And this card in this position, on the path of the serpent, we realize we need it. I think you need help. This is someone who is trying to do literally everything themselves, and they're wearing out. Their parts are breaking down. They're becoming so fatigued and so exhausted, and they are draining. They're being depleted of their vital energy. This is somebody that is working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days in a solar year. 364 and a half or a quarter, yeah, because leap year. My math ain't that good. The point is that it's not sustainable because you will wear yourself out, right? So I think there is a need to connect with others. There is a need to begin realizing that we need to ask for help sometimes, okay? That as self-sufficient and as self-reliant as you are, no one is an island. If you're the chariot stuck in the mud, sometimes we gotta holler for some help. Hey, give me a push. Or can you at least hold my laptop or so, hold my lunch while I push the car out of here. Something like that, right? The Libra energy at the end, I think, is, well, let's just go with straightforward interpretation. It's a fairness, right? It's an equal sort of opportunity situation for you. It's one where you're not expecting any sort of preferential treatment, but you just want to be treated fairly. You want the same opportunities that are being given to other people here. This is a work situation. This is one where you're getting really the short end of the stick here. You're not asking for any special, accommodations, right? You just want what's going to be sort of, fair and equal and reasonable, right? And sometimes this card is about you evaluating those expectations. Are you expecting something more than what other people in the same situation are getting, right? Or you just are you being sort of justified in your complaints here, let's say, right? And there's nobody that's going to decide this energy except you. And this is where you have to rely on your Three of Wands. Are you being reasonable? Are you justified in what you're doing now? Is this a situation where you really see no other choice but to free yourself from this and invoke your Fool energy, right? This is the evaluation that you really need to make. Okay, I think this card's also about you finding relationships, situations, partnerships that are more balanced, that are more reciprocating. Okay, to me it feels like a business. It feels like you're being treated unfairly at work. It feels like you're maybe being overloaded with responsibilities while other people get slack. Whether that's fact or not, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you feel that this is not conducive to your very best self and to your best life, and you've got to decide on what things you can do to improve your situation. If it means fresh start, then that's what it means. Okay, let's look at our mystery card. Maybe that will give us a little nudge. I'm kind of expecting more fire energy here. I'm thinking even maybe like an ace of wands or something. But I would like to see some more water energy. I want to see like a 9 or a 10 of cups, showing that you are, whatever you're doing, however it's happening, whatever changes and moves you have to make, your life is getting better. It is improving. You're feeling good. You're feeling happy, right? That's all I want. I want you to be happy. 9 of cups. Let's see. 4 of pentacles. Well, I did say anytime we get a 5, we start looking for the 4, right? So the 4 of pentacles could be a reluctance to leave the situation because, hey, I'm not going to quit this job because at least they're paying me. You know, it may be completely unfair. It may be really crushing my soul, but hey, they're paying me. So I can take care of basic needs, you know, water, shelter, food. But is that enough? You know, so sometimes we cling to those things that are toxic because it's better than not having anything, or we think so. That at least it is, you know, not something blah, blah, blah. This is the card that says, well, it could always be worse, right? This is kind of a card that makes us feel ashamed for wanting more in our life. Where, you know, someone may say, well, hey, you know, there are people that have it way worse than you. You know, you should be thankful for what you got because it could be a lot worse, right? And that is sort of an extreme one of these, you know, language of flower affirmation cards, because it says gratitude. Be thankful for what you got. Yeah. But not overly so to where you're going to put up with all this bovine excrement, all this toxicity because, well, it could be worse. I should just be thankful that I'm getting anything, right? Because now not only are we suffering the pain of the situation, but now we're suffering the shame and the guilt for even wanting more. I shouldn't even feel this way. You know, I feel the way I'd feel, and that's a sort of an unpleasant feeling. But now I have to feel bad about feeling bad, right? That's the 4 of Pentacles. So we've got to be able to let go of this, and you have a right. You deserve to pursue your jackpot, your very best energy. I feel that's what you're doing now. Don't let anything hold you back. Yeah. Now we're going to do an extended reading. You want to click on the link in the corner. There's a link down below. New readings for Cancer, Tuesdays and Fridays. Be sure to watch both the readings. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do that. Subscribe to Dove and Serpent Bedtime Stories as well. Leave a comment. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you, and we're all in this together.